Hi guys, before I begin the video, I want you to check out one man atmospheric black and doom metal band, Escaping Agatha. The link will be in the description. Now on with the show. From Buffalo's death metal scene to the Big Apple's all-you-can-eat musical buffet, few US states have such a sonic-rich heritage such as New York. New York has a hell of a legacy when it comes to music. Punk, disco, Broadway musical, all rightfully call the Big Apple home. On the New York State itself has a rich, diverse musical heritage. While it may not be the birthplace of metal, it has thrown up its classic share of metal bands over the years. Whittling it down to the best metal bands from New York is no easy task, so I've imposed some rules on myself to try and make it as easy as possible. As the title suggests, I'm sticking to metal bands, so no hard rock legends. That means Kiss, Blue Oyster Cult, or New York hardcore outfits like Agnostic Front and Sick of It All, no offense. Otherwise we'll be here all day. One of the most unique bands in the history of metal is Type O Negative, and they became one of the least likely million-selling bands ever, thanks to their uncanny knack of meddling somber, doomy, goth-tinged riffs with soaring, unescapable melodies. This bizarre meld saw them given the nickname the Drab 4, thanks to the Beatles on Downers vibe. But their starman was undoubtedly their frontman, the late, great Peter Steele, a man with a dry wit, rich vocabulary, as well as a hulking fame. As the card-carrying members of thrash metal's Big Four, Anthrax would easily stride onto any list of the New York's greatest musical achievements. Throughout their career, they have hopped gleefully around the subgenres, taking in their hometown's love for punk rock and hip-hop to become one of metal's most revered boundary breakers. Just take a look at that back catalogue: Caught in the Mosh, Indians, I Am the Law, Madhouse, Got the Time, and Ring the Noise. You can't mess with that, and can you? And they're still doing it to this day, and can still blow most bands half their age on stage while doing it. Only as the level of respect we have for Anthrax. People think new metal is laughable these days. The early idea of the genre, ultra low, staccato, grooving Latin riffs, pulverizing you into submission, is still a good one. And whilst Sepultura, Anthrax, and Rage Against the Machine may get all the credit for creating its blueprint, the one band that arguably deserves all the praise for the best things in new metal is New York's Helmet. Their 3-album run of Meantime, Betty, and Aftertaste is near perfect. It includes everyone from Glassjaw to Deftones, and even features some of the most incredible rhythmical guitar grooves ever committed to tape, thanks to the genius guitar god that is Page Hamilton. Again, although most people associate early death metal with Florida, it was a fertile breeding ground in New York, and Suffocation might just be the best of the bunch. Since 1988, save for a little half of the decade, for their break in the late 90s, they've been one of death metal's most consistent bands. Not only do they have some mind-boggling technical riffs, and one of the genre's most instantly recognizable vocalists in Frank Mullen, their use of breakdowns was hugely influential in the creation of the deathcore movement, and I'll let you decide if that's a positive or negative. He might be a massively successful solo artist and a Hollywood director in his own right these days, but Rob Zombie could not have gotten there if it wasn't for the incredible career he forged in White Zombie. Starting life as a bizarre art punk project, the band slowly but surely began to find their sound by staring metal electro-industrial throbs and cartoonish B-movie personas into the sonic pot. The end result was a stunning Astral Creep 2000, swan song in 1995, by which time they were one of the biggest bands in America. Rob has never looked back or been as quite as good. A full member of Anthrax, bassist Danny Leica has already made it onto this sort of list once, and in Nuclear Assault and SOD, a couple more could have made it on here too. But I'm going to plump for his most extreme work as a member of Brutal Truth as the bassist's second entry. Why? Take a listen to the band's 4th album, Sounds of the Animal Kingdom. Even though grindcore has already been well established by this point, this album ups the intensity and quality levels to wonderful new heights. Plus, since the reformation of this band in 2006, they've brought out 2 new albums that still piss on the competition like it's no thing. Now, when it comes to progressive metal, it made Dream Theater one of the biggest cult bands with a devoted fan base that hang on to each note that rings from John Wyung's six-string bass, and with good reason. They're technically perfect and can write albums as taxing as involved as the stunning Metropolis Part 2 Scenes from Memory, and even the grumpiest Dream Theater hater must secretly nod their head to Pull Me Under. One of the great lost metal bands, not just from New York but from anywhere, Candiria came out of their underground in the late 90s and sounded like no one else. Their mix of technical metal, hip-hop, jazz and hardcore can be heard on 2001's 300% Density. This should have put them in the same league as the Digital Escape Plan at 6, as one of the new millennium's most groundbreaking acts. Instead, they were played by Ron Luck and changing musical climate. They vanished for years before recently regrouping for this year's excellent comeback album, While We Were Sleeping. True visionaries that deserve far more than they've got this far. This is a bit of a weird one. Now, I did say from the outset no hardcore bands, but Bad Brains were formed and were formerly associated with Washington DC. They made it into this list because due to their relocation to New York and the massive impact they made on the hardcore scene, and most importantly the hugely eclectic strides they made in their music after settling in the Big Apple. Check out the difference in hardcore punk prototype of their self-titled 1982 debut and the funk metal hybrid classic of I Guess I 4 years later for proof that the band is burgeoned thanks in their time to New York. So once again, do check out the one-man atmospheric black and doom metal band Escaping Agatha, link in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.